Hello and happy Monday! If you're wondering why Miss B is so happy on this Monday, it's because it's our last Monday of the school year. So we have made it to our very last packet of distance learning. And today we're going to do the problem where it says math, and there's two bullets. First one, write in the numbers 0.3, 0.4, 0.5, 0.6, 0.7, and 0.8 in the correct place so that each line of the cross adds up to 1.8. Then once we solve that, we're going to do it again. Write in the numbers 0.3, 0.4, 0.5, 0.6, 0.7, and 0.8 in the correct place so that each line of the cross adds up to 2.0. So two-part problem today. If you have your packet, you can actually write right on that, or you can do what I did and write your problem on a separate sheet of paper. So I drew it nice and big so you can see. I wrote our goal number up here. We want to add downwards and across to get our goal number 1.8. And these are all the numbers that we have to choose from to fill in the boxes with. So I'm actually going to do most of my work on a scrap piece of paper, and then once I'm ready, I'll fill in the boxes on my cross. So one of the tricks here is that we need 4 of these numbers to add up to 1.8, and then the other numbers are a group of 3 that add up to 1.8. And the trickiest part is that one of the numbers goes in the middle. That means one of the numbers will be used 2 times, going across and going down. So we're going to start by taking these numbers and figuring out how we can put those into 2 groups that add up to 1.8. This is going to practice our adding decimals. So I'm going to take my separate sheet of paper and just start coming up with combinations that add up to 1.8. If you want to pause it right now and try to do that yourself, you may, or you can keep continuing to watch the video. So I started by writing my numbers on the top, just so I can have them right there and easy to see, and I can even cross them out as I go, so I make sure that I don't use the numbers more than I should be. So I'm going to start by figuring out what 3 numbers can add up to 1.8. So these would be the numbers that go in the boxes across. So I need 3 numbers that add up to 1.8. And I think that maybe I'll start with 0.8. So let's see, we have 0.8, and how about I add to that, I'm going to add to that 0.6. So I'm just writing my list right here. I know that 0.8 and 0.6 would add up to 1.4, because I would carry down, these add up to 14, I would carry down the 4 and put the 1 up here, and then that would be 1.4. But I need 1.8. So to get from 1.4 to 1.8, I'm going to have to add this 0.4. And now let's add them up and make sure that we did our math correctly. So I have all the decimals added up, and they are lined up where the decimal point is. So I know that 4 plus 6 is 10, 10 plus 8 is 18, so I'll drop the 8 and carry the 1. I'm going to bring down my decimal point, and all the zeros plus the 1 makes 1. So these 3 numbers do make 1.8. So now we have three numbers that would go across. But let's see if the rest of ours, if we put them in here, would make 1.8 going down. So what did we not use? We did not use the 0.3. We did not use 0.5. We did not use 0.7. So let's add those up. 0.3, 0.5, 0.7. If we add those up, we would get 7 plus the 3 makes 10. 10 plus the 5 makes 15. So that would be 1.5. But remember, this would be a group of 4 going down in our cross. So we would need one more number in order to make that to 1.8. Now the only number that we can add 1.5 to get to 1.8 would be another 0.3. But we can't do that because we already used the 0.3 one time. So this combination of numbers will not work. If you're having trouble visualizing, that means we would have put 0.3 in this box, 0.5, 0.7, and we would have needed another 0.3 down here. But we can't have two 0.3s in the same row. Okay, so let's cross out our work that we just did. I'm going to put a line through it just so we know that didn't work. But that's okay because we are solving a puzzle, and if one way doesn't try, we just try another way. So I'm going to start back with my 0.8, way back at the beginning, and let's add something other than 0.6. So we'll have 0.8. Maybe this time I try 0.7. Now I know that these two would add up to 1.5 because 8 and 7 make 15. And I know that 1.5 plus 0.3 will make us to 1.8. So again, let's just test my math. 3 plus 7 is 10. 10 plus 8 is 18. We'll drop the 8, carry the 1. Bring down your decimal, and the zeros and the 1 make 1. So those three numbers did make 1.8. This time maybe I'll cross out the numbers on top. So we use 0.8, we use 0.7, we use 0.3. So if that helps you as you're moving along, you can do that too. See how I crossed out the numbers up top? And let's see if the other numbers add up to make 1.8. So we have 0.4, 0.5, 0.6 left. I'm going to add these over to the side. 0.6, 0.5, 0.4. 6 plus the 4 is 10. 10 plus the 5 is 15. So we bring down the 5, carry the 1. move down your decimal point, and the zeros and the 1 make 1. So this would be 1.5. Again, we need to make 1.5 up to 1.8, and by doing that, we can add 0.3. The 5 plus the 3 makes 8. Bring down the decimal point, and 0 and 1 make 1. So we know that we have a group of 3 over here that can make 1.8. And we have a group of 4, these 3 plus the 0.3, that makes 1.8. We did use the 0.3 twice, but it was once for the numbers across and once for the numbers down. That means that our 0.3 will have to go in the middle box so it can add up with the numbers across, and it can add up with the numbers going down. So when we are looking back at our cross, we'll put the 0.3 right in the middle. And our group of 3 that we added up was 0.3, 0.7, and 0.8. So we'll put 0.7 and 0.8 in here. It does not matter which box you put them in, but I'll do 0.7 on the left and 0.8 on the right. You can switch those if you want. And lastly, we fill in our numbers going down. So that was our group of 4. Our group of 4 was 0.6, 0.5, 0.4, and the 0.3, which we already put in the box. So the remaining numbers we'll put in these boxes. Again, it does not matter which number you put where, because no matter how we add them, we're still going to add up to the same numbers. The only number that does matter is the 0.3, which goes in the middle. So I'll do them in order: 0.4 at the top, then 0.5, and then 0.6 at the bottom. And here's our solution. If you wanted to check one more time and add up the numbers going across and add up the numbers going down, you can, just to make sure you did it right. So I'm not sure actually if there is another solution. There might be. Of course there is one if you put these numbers in different boxes here, or these. But maybe that's something that you want to go explore on your own and see if you can come up with another way. But this is one solution to the problem. Now we are not done quite yet. Remember, the next part of the problem, that was the first bullet point, and the next part says to do it again, but this time our goal is to add up the numbers and get 2.0. So last time how we added them up to 1.8, this time they have to add up to 2.0. So I'm not going to go through the whole problem solving process with you, but just like we did on this paper and we tried out a different way of solving it, I want you to take out a piece of paper and try to do it on your own. You might want to write the list of numbers that you can use at the top and start adding them up to figure out how you can get to 2.0. So take out a piece of paper and do that now. once you have what you think works, play the video again and you can check it with the solution that I came up with. Alright, let's go through the solution that Miss B came up with. So again, I started by writing my numbers at the top so I can see what I'm working with. And I like to start with the biggest number. So again, I started with 0.8. And to the 0.8, I'm looking to get to 2.0. So first let's cross out my 0.8 because I already used that. Let's try 0.7 again. And I know 0.7 and 0.8 make 1.5 when they add together. And if I want to get from 1.5 to 2.0, I'm going to need to add 0.5 to these two numbers. 0.5 adds to my list, and I'll cross it out up top. So now let's just make sure. Let's add them up and see what we get. So we have 0.88 and 0.7, 0.5. 8 plus 7 makes 15. 15 plus 5 makes 20. So we'll drop the 0 and carry the 2. We will bring down the decimal point, and then the zeros plus the 2 makes 2. So we checked our work. Those three numbers add up to make 2.0, and that is our goal number. So we finished the first step. But now we have to test and see if our other three numbers plus one of these can also make it to 2.0. So let's take what's left and add them up. We have 0.6, 0.4, and 0.3. 0.6, 0.4, 0.3, add them all up. 6 plus 4 is 10, 10 plus 3 is 13. We're going to drop the 3 and carry the 1. And we'll bring down our decimal point, and the zeros plus the 1 make 1. So far we have 1.3. Now, can we get that 1.3 up to 2.0 by adding one more number? Yes, we can. We can add 1.3 and 0.7 to get us to 2.0. So if we add the 0.7 and we line them up with the decimal points, 7 plus 0 is 10. Drop the 0, carry the 1. Bring down the decimal point. And the 1 plus the 1 we carried makes 2. So there we have our group of 4 numbers that makes 2.0. 0.6, 0.4, 0.3, 0.7. And that's okay that we use 0.7 twice, because once it's with the group of 3 going across, and once it'll be with the group of 4 going down. That means our 0.7, which is used twice, will go in the middle box of our cross. So let's fill in our cross so we have the complete answer. We know that 0.7 was going in the middle. Also in our group of 7, we had, or our group of 3, sorry, we had 0.8 and 0.5. Those will go across. If you want to switch those, that's fine. That'll still be really the same answer. And then our group of 4 was the other numbers, which are 0.3, 0.4, and 0.6. And again, you can put those in whatever boxes you want, and it'll still work. So I'll put 0.3 at the top, then 0.4, and then 0.6 at the bottom. And there you go. Again, if you want to check your answers one more time, make sure those add up and these add up to our 2.0, you can. And here is one solution. If you want to try and see if you can figure out another, you can take the time and do that yourself. Nice work, and I will see you tomorrow.